your 13 years old self was right about your interests and hobbies, and you always should go back mentally to your interests when you were like 13. And I think it's absolutely right. It's a really great statement because your 13-year-old self was probably right about everything you're interested in. And I would say it's because you are starting to become a teenager, but you are also a kid, and you was a kid for at that time for your whole life, and life was just unfiltered and unapologetic, I would say. And when I look back to myself when I was 13, I feel like I had three big interests which I think I want to go back to, and it was skating, becoming a YouTuber, and having a lot of girls. Yeah. And I think it's weird to the last thing with the girls because I was so young, but it was like more innocent back then. But let's look at the other two statements. I think I was pretty right when I was 13 about becoming a YouTuber. Back then, becoming a YouTuber was really like something which was pretty rare. Nowadays, everybody can be a YouTuber. A lot of people are influencers, TikTokers, or whatever. But back then, it was really special. I was 13 in the beginning of the 2010s, so it's been a while. And in Germany, where I live, I feel like the biggest YouTuber at that time had only 800,000 subscribers, and the whole country knew uh, the people who had those YouTubers who had it. And I think it was just three YouTubers back then. But nowadays, on TikTok, YouTube, etc., a lot of people have almost a million followers and are not that famous, which is pretty interesting. So back then, when I was 13, getting 100,000 subscribers was something which was really impossible to achieve. And nowadays, so many people have it, have 100,000 subscribers. And I think I want to, yeah, I want to achieve those dreams, as I said in the previous video. But yeah, the other point I had was skating. I liked skating when I was a child, and I wanted to become like a really good skater. I didn't follow that dream that much until 2020 again, when I started to skate again and I became quite good. And then a couple, I would say 1 to 2 years later, I just dropped it completely, and now I want to go back again to it. Um, why is being 13 so important for this whole message? I would say it's a time where you wasn't brainwashed. You was really following your heart, and your interests developed because they were genuinely your interests, I would say. When you get older and you become an adult, I would say a lot of your interests form by your circumstances. Let's just say, okay, you want to become an architect, a doctor, and I would say a lot of people don't have those dreams when they're real young, and it's often the expectations of their parents or their surroundings and the system itself. It's like, okay, you need to have the status, you need to have a good degree, what jobs can you do to become rich in this system, and what jobs can I do to, or what dreams can I follow that people will look up to me. But I would say when you're younger, all those things don't matter to you, and you just follow what's in your heart. And so all interest that you have and all interest that developed at that time in your age, it was like really innocent, pure, childlike, and you had figured it out, I would say. And all those kind, what's the word? I would say all these pure and innocent interests formed and are so pure, you can't you can't replicate it when you're older. And your 13-year-old self probably had figured it out because that was a time where you was pure and wasn't corrupted by the system. So I would say your 13-year-old self was probably right, and you should go back to that interest you had back then and just try it. Maybe you were wrong, and maybe you won't make it big as something you wanted to be when you were 13, but enjoying those things again as an adult and taking your time to enjoy those things is really great. I'm starting to pick up skating again. I always wanted to be a YouTuber, and I'm just doing it right now. And yeah, just do it. And the other thing I said was like dating a lot of girls. At the moment, I think this would be one point I'm not following that much. I'm not that interested in dating at the moment. I'm just interested in having a good time, low cortisol, and yeah, going back to have innocent and playful interests, I would say, yeah. Yes.